Hi, everybody. I'm Keith Schaefer from InvestingWhisperer.com. Today in our backstage interview, we're talking with Michel David, CEO of Walker River Resources. And the reason Walker River came on my radar was because I could tell by the chart that it had been a bit of an orphan stock, was trading around a dime, and there were some incredibly high grade numbers that had come out of previous press releases, like really high grade. And it was in Nevada, and it was a virgin piece of property. So now when I say virgin, I mean that it had been artisan mined 100 years ago, but there's been no modern exploration work on it. And Michel has owned this property for a long time. So what I'm going to ask you, Michel, thank you for joining us today, is just before we came on the screen here, we were talking about how you said, this is actually a mining story. And I'm going, what do you mean it's a mining story? This is you're barely getting your first real big program going here. So can you explain to me and investors why you think this is a mining story so quickly?
Well, that's how it actually started, and that's what attracted me. I looked at the project way back in '94, and what attracted me was structure and grade and geology and all that. But what really got me going was the work that these guys did. These are all prospecting families. They started in the 1880s, and we understand the geography. We're up a mountain, not a hill, a mountain. So they dragged all this mining equipment up this steep incline using mules and steel, and they had no compressors. It was all done by hand. And they did 2,000 feet of underground workings on the side of a mountain with shafts and so on. So I looked at this thing and I said, wow, they did some real serious work. And we know historically in Nevada in those years, 1880, 1915. So you got to mine minimum of an ounce a ton underground if you're going to make any money at all. And these guys had to make money. You can imagine it's in the middle of nowhere. So actually, they just mined this thing. They didn't bother. There's been never any drilling, never any exploration, never any major or minor or any company going up there. It was all private. It was held privately, and certain families in Nevada were very successful in their mining enterprises. But they all did this personally. Now, when the guys started passing away and the great-grandfather went away, but today the families aren't interested in this. So I had to look at it. It took me a while to clear up and control the chain of title. But when I finally got at it, what really attracted to me, I said, hey, these guys, I believe a lot in the old guys in Nevada. They all call the old prospectors on their horses. They saw it all. They found every mine in Nevada has been seen by a prospector way back in the early 1900s. But here I see a thing they knew they were doing. So I said, well, if there's one place to look for high-grade gold, it's right here. So that's how we started it. And we were convinced. Now, I did go into the old tunnels where I could get into them and did sample and got some really good results, like an ounce a ton. So I'm saying, wow, they've been mining in here and we're still getting those values. So it's worth a shot of drilling. And again, we had no data. I had no other drill rig. I had nothing to rely on but ourselves. So we started it, and first hole was spectacular is the right word. It's great grades. And it's also great widths, because not only is nice high grade structure, which is not fairly large, we can actually follow the high grade. It's not little veins. We can actually see this. It's geology. It's an albite dike, flat lying, and intersects, and it's about 15 feet in width of running over an ounce a ton. But it's surrounded. It's encased in a zone of lower grade material. But if you put all that together, we got mineralization over 800 feet in width. The grade of the lower grade material is still, in Nevada, anywhere else, you'd get, 0.5 grams, 0.6 grams. People say, there's a mine. Well, I got this, and this is the stuff we don't want to bother looking at. We're looking at the high grade. But we can trace.
Michel, what year did you have that first drill hole where you had the really high grade? And what was the exact grade, and what kind of widths are we talking about?
Well, we're talking, I think that if I remember well, it's a type of thing. We're running about 18 meters, running about anywhere from the average grade of about 0.4 ounces per ton, I believe. And there's a number of different holes like that. I just right off the bat can't remember them. But
that's like 10 grams.
Oh, yeah. The average we've been getting is 8 grams over 60 feet type thing, true width. We're always drilling on true width. So the grades are fun because we can actually trace this high grade structure, but it's the width of everything. You put everything together and you're getting these impressive widths. So when you're mining, you say, wow, I don't have to bother with dilution. I always like my favorite phrase is you don't mine ounces, you mine rock. And if the rock has got no gold in it, it costs you the same amount of money to get it out. But if it's got gold, you're going to the bank. So I looked at it from that point of view. And I also did the drilling in December, of 2015. Not the best market to do exploration in gold in. Boy, money was tough. There was no market. But also, people have always said to me, oh, you can't drill in Nevada at 9,000 feet in December. Well, guys, we did it. We proved it. It wasn't easy, but we got it. Then we came through in 2016, repeated it again. As the CEO, I'm a geologist, obviously. I love my results, but there's a little bit of disappointment in the market. I knew why. I mean, if I had a result, the type of results we've drilled in the last few years, if I could say those today, we know the stock would, be much higher than it would be today because there's all eyes. But when we were doing this, nobody knew about us. Nobody cared about us. Nobody cared about gold, in fact. But the whole sector that we've got is, we have that one property we're talking about. Then we're surrounded by two other properties of the same style. What they are is they were mined. Guys went after the old guys went in. They did shafts. There was a lot of work up there. Inaccessible territory, tough to get up. They did adits and shafts, actually built a mill, which is impressive, with concrete foundations, steel I-beams. Look, they put a lot of money in here. If they were mining, and they did a lot of money, but nobody ever explored. That's the most amazing thing is no exploration.
It took you a long time to assemble this property package, didn't it?
It took me a long time. When I first visited it in '94, I loved the property, but I just couldn't get the deal done because the chain to title was a bit of a mess. I had to wait. I kept my eye on it. And from about 2005, we started cleaning it up. And what I mean by we, I said I started investing and paying lawyers in Nevada to start looking at if we could actually purchase it from the remaining family, which we finally did. A few $100,000 later, we actually got the title done and were able to make the deal with the great-great-grandsons and daughters of the original owners. So it was quite an adventure. Just buying the property wasn't easy, but boy, it was really, really worth it. And today we're just out of our minds because for once we can actually go after this thing aggressively because we couldn't before. But
so
now
let's talk about the upcoming drill program. What's going to be happening? How many meters? What would success look like?
Well, if we can repeat anything near what we did before, I think we've got a handle on it. We've built all our infrastructure. That also took a lot of time, a lot of money, get our rigs up there, do on and so forth. Essentially what this program is once I start, I can keep on going forever. There's so much room up there to drill, and there's so many different places to look at. I could be drilling the next 2 years nonstop. It's just a lack of money right now, because we can drill this thing aggressively, which we couldn't do before. It wasn't a matter of not wanting to. But as I say to people, for once in our lives, we're getting what the property deserves. So right now, I've already mapped out a minimum of 60 holes are already mapped out. It means the position is done, the drill pad is built. But that doesn't mean we stop after 60. Money continues. We just keep on going. We can do more than 60 holes. There's a lot of room up there. You look at properties in Nevada this style, and they've had, hundreds of thousands of feet of drilling by Barrick and Newmont and juniors. This one's got nothing. It's great. I mean, it's virgin territory.
When do we start, and when do you think we'd get first results?
Well, we're starting now. I just came back. That's why I'm talking to you guys from the quarantine of my home because I just got back from Nevada. We're just waiting for our contractor. We're ready to go. The team is ready. The geologists are ready. I'll be returning in about 2 weeks. But I'm hoping to get it going before that. It's just a matter of just contractor, getting the drill up there, and the crews. They're affected a little bit by COVID too, the lack of personnel a little bit. But we should get going very, very shortly. I mean, we're there right now. We're starting essentially. We've started all the base work, and I'm hoping to get up there in the next. It's a day-by-day basis right now. But
so, how much money is in the till, and how many holes can we get with the money in the bank right now?
Well, right now we, amazingly enough, for once in our lives, we have about $4 million in our bank account. And we're very cheap. We're well set up, but we're very cheap, and we're budget conscious. Usually, I do about 10 holes, 100,000. I can do at least right now over 100 holes on my budget.
And so you're drilling fairly shallow. How deep do these holes go? We've only got
Well,
about 30 seconds left, but
yeah, luckily for us, the mountain works to our advantage because we're always on the zone and we don't need to do long holes. We do short holes because it's right there. It's right on surface. The mountain is the gold zone. So you look at the mountain, you can actually see the gold zone of the mountain. So we just go up the mountain, we come back down. We're just following a switchback road and we drill on the road on the switchback. So essentially from a drilling point of view, once you're up there, it's really, really easy. There's no problem.
Michel, I wish you had more time to talk about all what's going to happen.
I wish I had more time to.
and so one 5-second answer. When do you think our first set of results could come out?
Hopefully before Christmas. I'm hoping by December. We're already in November. We might get a little bit in December. Now it depends on the laboratories. That's all. It's none under our control. We're going to try and push for December for sure.
Okay. Michel, thanks so much for your time today. God bless you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.